Tonight, on Saturday Discourse, we will turn attention and spotlight and delve into a critical conversation, infrastructure development in the FCT, as Abuja continues to grow in population and prominence. The demand for robust infrastructure becomes ever more pressing. Roads, housing, transportation networks, power, and public services all play vital roles in defining the quality of life and the city's economic potential. In this episode, we will examine the milestone achieved, the challenges still faced, and what the future holds for infrastructure planning and delivery in the nation's capital, from Abuja master plan to the realities on the ground. We bring you expert perspectives and policy insights. My name is Abdullah Hajia, your host. Do join us again shortly. Thank you for staying tuned. Now the news. Collaborating and strategically positioning itself alongside other stakeholders to curb the menace of child trafficking and labor are the focus and goal of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Traffic in Persons, NAPTIP, through a stakeholder engagement. Moses Kuye reports that the partners are bent on helping victims and bringing perpetrators to book, while survivors recount their sorry experience at the event.
Through NAPTIP and your brother who helped you and rescued you, now you should be grateful to God.
Child trafficking has been a subject many describes as an offense against humanity, while the perpetrators of this heinous act are large, while victims become devastated as they look up for help even at the face of their pain and sorrowful experiences.
As their agency to empower them with diverse skills. When I talk about skills, we're not talking about the regular teaching them how to make clothes, that's fantastic, but the world we are in today has moved beyond those. We're thinking about softer skills and other skills like in IT, coding, and different sorts of skills that brings these girls to a place where they can compete globally with other girls of their age across the globe.
We really want to make sure that we are listening to the voices of the victims. It's collaboration, and we need to think more about how we can empower youth, how we can raise awareness of parents and young people.
This collaborative effort is geared towards exchange, engagement, and partnership, helping to alleviate the situation of victims and funding agencies to bring down the issues related to child trafficking to the barest minimum.
You come with something that she didn't buy for you, she will send you back. But now we have mothers telling their children to go, and if they like, let them go and die and do things that we cannot even discuss.
Because so many Nigerians, there was this list I saw. So many Nigerians in Ethiopia, in Libya, you see women speaking from the window. We have been here for 8 years. I've been here for, you see, they mentioning good number of years they've been here, languishing in jail.
Workable solutions among those lending their voice to discourse are Nigerians in diaspora, different human rights organizations, the legislature, and anti-bullying campaign groups. In Abuja, Moses Kuye, NTA News.
Now, promoting literacy through school libraries, book donations, storytelling sessions, and reading competitions is the brain behind the launch of Read to Lead campaign, put together by the Gbemishola Yusuf Foundation. Mariam George Jutubo reports that stakeholders and students all converged for the event.
With the mission to promote reading culture among children, especially in underdeserved areas, empower children to become confident readers and future leaders, among others, the Gbemisola Yusuf Foundation drew participants from both private and public schools in the Federal Capital Territory. The convener and founder of the organization, Aisha Gbemisola Yusuf, says The campaign stems out of her desire to support the government in ensuring that every child has access to quality education as well as promote literacy and digital skills development.
And seeing the kids not getting the basic education they need, and I feel like it's about time we start to do something about it, because if you can't read, you can't lead. These kids are our future. We need to start taking care of them. We need to start doing something about it. So, like I said, it's very passionate to me, and I'm here for the kids, and it's all about the kids for me.
There were goodwill messages from representatives of the Executive Secretary, Tertiary Education Trust Fund, Director General, National Orientation Agency, and Director, National Library of Nigeria.
Catching children up at this level is really a fantastic idea, because by the time you instill the culture of reading into their minds, it means you will grow with them. You may end up having great leaders.
We encourage children to read for pleasure, not to read to pass exams. If they're going to read for pleasure and to be able to explore the world, it would really help the creative thinking of our children. The clearance of all Nigerians to embrace reading. You know, we are not reading. And this is a campaign that is calling on Nigeria, especially those in the hinterland, to embrace the culture of reading.
Some guests read their books to participants. The students also participated in spelling bee and spiced up the event with a cultural display. Mariam George, Jitubo, NTA News.
3 weeks into the month of May was a nightmare for residents of Gwagwalada Area Council of the FCT, with disruption to public water supply, though to last hours but crept into weeks. Aisha Ubali, who visited the area in the height of the scarcity and untold hardship, went back to the area council for an update, eliciting positive responses from residents.
For weeks, there was no drop of water from these taps. Rather, there were drops of tears from some of these children who were denied playtime to search alternative sources for the scarce water, an essential commodity. Portable water was far from the reach of many. Access to it could best be described as a huge task, with vendors trekking miles to rescue the situation. Water from this river remained the most cherished, precious, at the same time harmful.
The last time we visited this area, which is under Gwagwalada Area Council, this river, there was so much activity ongoing with people washing and fetching water for domestic use. But today the story is different, as the people of Gwagwalada Area Council say water has been restored and life has been made easier for them.
A visit to the sources of water with no official willing to speak seemed like the problem was unsurmountable. But after every hardship comes ease. Forfeiting playtime was the most annoying for these kids, but now it is all over. With the restoration of water, Gwagwalada residents hope that it would be sustained, going by the saying, once bitten, twice shy.
There wasn't enough water, so we had to use well water, and as you can see, it was somehow bad for the body. But we thank God that now there is water.
Like some days ago, we suffered for water seriously, and my parents now we are enjoying the water.
Yeah, so it is like a 2 weeks, something 3 weeks. Let me say 3 weeks. Yes. Yeah. So how do you feel now? Thank God that yes.
The acting general manager of FCT Water Board in Area 3, Daniel Audu, who spoke off camera, highlighted some of the issues that caused the interruption, saying the Gwagwalada experience was not deliberate. For these kids, playtime will not be stolen and snatched from them anymore. Water vendors will only make moderate profits. Students will not be late for lectures, and like earlier reported, residents will no longer be afraid of outbreak of diseases. From Gwagwalada Area Council, Aisha Ubali, NTA News.
Now to our focus of the day, but before then, let's get some feelers from what FCT residents are saying.
But it's just like a tax, like somebody living in a house paying tax, the house tax. So I think it is compulsory that we should pay it. So I don't see reason why we should not pay it, and I don't see reason why the government should not act on it. But it's based on what? Mutual understanding between the people.
What government is doing is not that bad, because when you look at it holistically from a good perspective, what they are trying to do is that to make everything be as it is, what is expected that something to be, that is what they are doing. But some people may look in another way around. We citizens, we are even contribute to a lot of problem. Let me give an instance. There are some instance that the government will inform group of people or the landlord that this particular place, this is action that they are going to take. Give them some time range for them to do the need, but they won't do it. It is when the government will now take over, taking decision, that people now might be talking. But in that aspect, the government is doing the right thing, especially in this FCT.
Many years they have occupied it, nobody cares. No government go after them. Now, if the FCT minister have woke up to the task, let it be. At least they have given them enough time to redeem their image in times of come and pay. And some of them pay, some refuse. So if we are talking of FCT minister action, it's the right thing to do. Because without that, how can the country move forward? Many people have occupied many buildings without payment. We have seen it. Many of them, they have published their names and they saw it. Many redeemed their pledges, but some they didn't. So if FCT just woke up by next week now, according to them, that they are going to revoke it, let it be revoked. Let it be done.
It's a good thing. So this rent grant payment is what that they pay the money we used to do the necessary thing that we need to do without paying it. So that's a lot of things that we need to do. We can't be able to do it. Let the government just pardon them and then give them time. We know that things is very hard now. It's very difficult to do, but pardon them, to give them time to do it.
All right, thank you very much. The views of FCT residents on some of the things we want to discuss on the program. And right away, I have Dr. Chinatu Ohai-Kelem, an economist, joining me live on the Discourse. Thank you for joining us on Saturday Discourse, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, well, we want to look at what Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, has been going through in recent time, or years if you want to call it. We've seen infrastructure revamp. What's your assessment of the current infrastructure and the journey in the nation's capital?
Well, thank you very much. The infrastructure in Abuja as the Federal Capital Territory, of recent, we have seen some positive changes because of the new minister, Nyesom Wike. Everyone in Abuja will applaud him because he barely, let me say, this May will make him 2 years. And even in the city center, in the satellite town, everyone can testify that he's doing a very good job. But nevertheless, Abuja have infrastructural deficits, especially apart from the transportation. Abuja lack coordinated transportation system. The water system in Abuja is, there is nothing to write home about. You can find out that it's just few districts in Abuja that have access to potable water. Most districts in Abuja, either they are digging borehole or one way or the other. Even in the satellite town, I don't think there are satellite towns. You see, Gwagwalada, for instance, in Gwagwalada, in Yanyan, in Buhari, most of them don't have access to what do you call it, pipe-borne water. So the FCT minister needs to look deeply into that on how to address, are you getting me, that part of infrastructure in Abuja.
Well, there have been a backlog of probably the deficit you're pointing, to, but I think we've seen like a retracing of our steps to say, okay, right, we need to get some of those infrastructure if actually we want to make Abuja, compete among capital cities of the world. And I think several times the minister has said that it is not just only claiming it on paper, but I think we need to see physical infrastructure commitment that we've seen. But like you said, there are still areas. I want us to also look at housing. I think is also parts of what we call deficit, in what we should be talking about.
Well, on the housing aspect, it's quite appalling. There is no city in Abuja that is as expensive as Abuja. And the land is there. You understand? If it's like Lagos, you say there is lagoon here and there, or River State, there is lagoon, you understand? It will be understandable. But in Abuja, I don't know why Abuja cannot go into mass housing development. Yes, the former minister, during the time of Obasanjo, they tried to run a PPP arrangement. And we can see that during the time of Sani Abacha, Abacha went to the extent of developing Gwarimpa. But we can see that after Sani Abacha, Goodluck, Jonathan, Obasanjo did well. That is where the PPP, you can see estate like Saitek, Mbora, all those estates spring up. But it seems after Goodluck, Jonathan regime, nothing happens. You can hardly point to one district. You understand? It's just people building houses here and there. And at times without even approval. Later on, you hear that they are demolition, which will even cause an, an eyesight. Now, we came to Buhari, nothing happened in Buhari regime. I will tell you in Abuja, you cannot pinpoint one infrastructure. You will say, this is a legacy project that Bello, the minister under Buhari, left. Are you getting me? But in Abacha regime, you can say Gwarimpa. In Obasanjo regime, you can talk about, if you want to point of because apart from the estate, you can talk about the National Stadium. Obasanjo did it in his first tenure. Are you getting Buhari? Nothing. So my appeal is that the present government is trying, but he must look and think, because he's on the wheel right now. So he must think big. He must think big. You understand? It's not, yes, he's doing road, it's okay, but the deficit is still huge. He must work speedily to cover the deficit in respect to housing in Abuja. He can go into the modeling of PPP. There are lands. People are ready to develop. The government can build the infrastructure in those areas, and at the end of the day, give people 2 years, and they develop to reduce the deficit in housing. And at the end of the day, it's going to affect the economy of the people, because once there is more housing, the rent is going to drop, and Abuja residents will be happy for it. But we can see road, he's doing road, are you getting me? But translating it to Naira and Kobo, I don't see how that affects Abuja resident. It has not reduced the transportation costs or anything. Well, we thank him.
All right, well, let me just make some comment. I know under successive FCT administration or the federal government, we've seen commitment in one way or the other. Yes, if we try to measure it, we'll say, okay, one is more or one has given more than the other. But I think previous administrations to have done, little or something to, put it, yes, let's leave it at that. But let's also go back to the issue of transportation, which I think is very critical to assessing a city.
Yeah.
Yes, we've seen the commitment in the construction of roads, but has that translated to addressing the issue of transportation? We still see people struggle to come to work from the different entry and exits that we have. If you go to Nyanya exit that you mentioned earlier, you still see people still struggling. I think there should be more commitment. Maybe rail transportation is doable.
Well, it's far more doable. That is why I talked about he must think big. Because there is no city, big city. Like if you go to London, there are rail systems everywhere. So what stopped the FCT from having a rail system, let me say from Gwagwalada, Suleja into town, from Nyanya, the end part of Maraba, are you getting me, into FCT? You understand, modern rail system, let's say speed train, within 20 minutes, you are in the city center. Are you getting me? So the FCT minister needs to think in line with that. If you take a cue from Lagos, you find out that Lagos also incorporated the rail system. It has helped in reducing some of the transportation problem they are having. So if FCT is going to go robust on that, it will be we know that it's capital intensive. Are you getting me? But we have the money in this country if it's properly deployed.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chinatu Ohai Kelem, an economist, for coming to share your thoughts with us on Saturday Discourse, and hoping that those at the other side of leadership will get some of the insight we've shared here for better infrastructure and for better city that we all desire.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, moving on. As part of activities to marking the commitments to professional development in the media space, the Nigerian Union of Journalists shared their thoughts with students of Government Technical College in Abuja during a workshop that was held. Isaac Jibo reports.
As participants gathered for the workshop, the excitement was palpable. The chapel had assembled a team of expert facilitators, each with a wealth of experience in public relations, journalism, and communications. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, represented by the Director of Public Relations and Protocol of the Ministry, Dr. Haruna Suleiman, highlighted the impact of artificial intelligence on press freedom. He noted that AI is reshaping how news is gathered, verified, and shared, urging journalists to embrace innovation while maintaining truth, transparency, and public trust.
We are navigating an era where artificial intelligence is rapidly reshaping the media landscape, altering how news is gathered, verified, disseminated, and consumed.
The workshop also launched a new magazine featuring key event discussions, media trends, public relations, and the growing impact of technology on modern journalism. The chairman of the Federal Information Chapel, Raphael Tiwonu, urged NUJ members and public communicators to stay ahead of this development, not as passive observers, but as active participants in shaping ethical standards.
Artificial intelligence is redefining the way news is gathered, disseminated, and consumed. As NUJ members and public communicators, we must stay ahead of this development, not as passive observers.
The UNESCO representative expressed delight, commending the initiative as timely and impactful in strengthening media freedom and professional communication practices.
The rapid development of artificial intelligence is yet another factor in dealing with these disruptions.
The workshop not only provided valuable insight into effective public communication, but also reinforced the importance of continuous professional development in the field. Participants expressed optimism that the knowledge gained would enhance their role in promoting transparency, accountability, and a more informed public. In Abuja, Isaac Jibo, NTA News.
That was Isaac Jibo's report on the NUJ Federal Information Chapel Capacity Building Workshop and the launch of magazine held in Abuja. Up next is Weekly News Wrap.
Welcome to Weekly News Wrap, the segment that highlights some of the major stories that made headlines in the week. I am Aisha Uba Ali. Beginning from Monday, Nigeria joined the rest of the global community to mark the World Hypertension Day with a health walk in the FCT. The health walk emphasized the need for residents to constantly check their blood pressure as part of ways to monitor and avoid hypertension. Also in the course of the week, correspondent brought to light the cultural richness of the Alago people of Kiana local government area in Nasarawa State as they celebrate the Oyalori Salt Festival. For residents of Gwawalada Area Council of the FCT, indiscriminate dumping of refuse built over time have posed challenge to their health and environment as they call out to relevant authorities to evacuate the environmental hazard. Similarly, in the week under review, the spate of water scarcity in same location is at an alarming rate as residents say they rely on water vendors, popularly known as Mirua, while others fetch from a river owing to the disruption of water supply in the area. Within the week, the coalition of FCT indigenous people in lending their voice against the exclusion of indigenous representatives from nomination into the board of the North Central Development Commission to the National Assembly through a peaceful protest, which turned rowdy. But the indigenous people also met stiff resistance from security personnel.
We want to tell the president to come to our aid as our father, as the father of the nation, as the peace-loving man that we know him to be, as an equitable and fair man that we know Mr. President to be. The president constituted this regional government so that we'll be able to get development within our rural areas. He wants to take governance to grassroots.
Section 2 sub 1b of the Act stated clearly that there shall be an indigene of each state that constitutes where that commission is being established, which is the North Central. So it is expected that FCT indigene should represent the FCT people in the board. But to our greater dismay, we saw Solomon Adodo representing FCT. And that is why we are here today at National Assembly to talk to them, to complain to them, and to tell them that we are not happy with this thing.
His representation is just an addition to the people of Benue State and not a representative of the FCT. We are here to ask for justice.
Finally, for this week, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, collaborated with stakeholders through active engagement, deliberated on strategic ways to curb the menace of child trafficking and labor, with partners pledging their willingness to help victims and bring perpetrators to book. This is where we conclude this week's package. The news continues shortly.
Let's join our sports desk for Sports Brief.
Nigerian Football Federation President Alhaji Ibrahim Musa Gusau has announced a complete overhaul of the country's under-20 national team, the Flying Eagles, due to their disappointing performance at the Under-20 African Cup of Nations. Gusau plans to assess each player individually and invite new talents to refresh the team's structure ahead of the upcoming regional competitions, particularly in the attacking department. The upcoming WAFU tournament will serve as a platform for new players to showcase their skills. Meanwhile, the CAF Champions League has unveiled a new trophy featuring a sleek blend of silver and gold lines, symbolizing unity and rivalry. The trophy's design represents the value of ambition, excellence and sportsmanship in African football. African football legends Tako Modise and Lomfo Kekana accompanied the trophy on its tour, sharing their insights and pride in the new symbol of continental excellence. Finally, the Golden Eaglets have advanced to the semi-finals of the 22nd National Sports Festival football event in Ogun State. They won 5-0 against Ebonyi State in the quarterfinals, with Abdul Muiz Adeleke scoring a brace. The team leads Group B with 5 points ahead of their final group stage match against Enugu State. Osun State tops Group A with 7 points, while Ogun and Edo States have 5 and 4 points respectively. With Sports Brief, Wayne Dogo, NTA News.
Thank you very much. Before we go, congratulations to Arsenal Femini team for winning the Women's Champions League. On that note, I want to thank you for investing your time with us. Let's do it same time, same station when we bring you another topic. Bye for now.